Welcome back to my way too overdue update. So how's my Bionic Gym journey going? Well, it crashed, it got caught on fire, and then it sank to the bottom of the ocean. By no means is it the fault of the Bionic Gym. No, really, it's more of like blaming my parents for genetics and the PUD emergency room doctors that sent me home not once, but twice with a ruptured appendix from the emergency room. Last I made an update, I was right on the edge of my first real goal, which was to make it into the 170s, which I hadn't seen, well, let's be honest, in years. I was just like half a pound away. I was going to give an update once I actually made it into the 170s, and I was being really good. I was using the Bionic Gym all the time. I was still having my indulgences and eating my sweets, which is kind of how I got a little fluffy in the first place. But I got down to 175, and then all hell broke loose. The day that I saw 175 was actually the last time I was able to ever use the Bionic Gym. I went in for my yearly cardiac workup, and because of my medical history and my health history from my family, where everyone decided to die of heart attacks, my doctor decided I needed to do another yearly stress test. It didn't go quite as planned. The point of a stress test is to get your heart rate up so they can see what it's like underneath the strain of exercising. And I'm on this lovely medication called propranolol, which I am taking for migraines and tremors. So the point of that medication is to keep your heart rate low. The most they could get my heart rate to was 100 beats per minute. They wanted like 150, I think, was their goal. It didn't happen. So they told me I needed a different type of stress test, and I was not allowed to exercise until I got the test, which apparently it takes forever to get in to get. So like 2.5 weeks later, I finally get the test, and then I have to wait for the doctor's office to actually call me back and give me permission to exercise again. And they finally do. So at that point, I had been 4 weeks, because of having to do the first stress test, before I was able to actually try to exercise. And I decided that I was going to do a Target run with my kids after getting the news, and then I would go home and watch a movie and put my Bionic Gym on. I mean, what else is better? Losing weight while watching movies. Yeah, that never happened. While I was in Target, the side of my vision, just the corner, started getting a little fuzzy. Really weird. Like, I got something caught in my eye, and I have allergies, and sometimes people put on a lot of perfume in Target, or I walk into the aisle that makes my face go poof. So I didn't think anything of it. But by the time we made it back to the toy section, I'm starting to see a squiggly line. And I realized, oh crap, it's a migraine coming on. A year before, I had been introduced to these these weird vision migraine things that happen where it looks like the aurora borealis going through your eye. And it was starting. So I knew immediately, drop what we're doing. We were checking out. Not too happy for the kids since we were in the toy aisle. And made a beeline to get Advil on the way out of the checkout. I got the Advil in the car, drove home. By the time I got home, I couldn't see it through one eye. It would just completely blur, and the true migraine part of it was starting, and my head was splitting open. And as I said before, I'm on medication, the propranolol, for migraines. For some reason, almost exactly 1 year to the day prior, I had started with the fuzzy eye and not being able to see. It actually happened to both eyes, which is also really fun. And I started having migraines. They would not go away. It only settled down once I started with the propranolol that a neurologist gave me. So it took a couple weeks of straight migraine to be able to get it under control. And for a couple months before the migraine started back up, I did realize I had almost like a nagging headache, just kind of all over, all the time. It got worse when the kids yelled, because God, kids do that to you. And it wasn't to the point of migraines, but I did start noticing that it had been going on for a couple months, that I just kind of had a nagging headache. And I was really lucky that when my husband got home, I was able to just shut everything off and crawl in bed and go to sleep. Around 2 a.m., I woke up with my side aching. It felt like the front of my rib all the way down to my bladder, and my back was hurting. If you've ever had labor and had back labor, it felt like that. Lovely. And I realized that, oh crap, there's something wrong with my kidney. And the migraine was still going full blast. About a month prior to this, I had been also for months having this weird little achy pulling sensation in my lower abdomen area. About 2.5 years ago, I had my appendix rupture, and I knew I had been battling scar tissue from that, and I was afraid the scar tissue was getting worse. I had a little bout afterwards where there was a lot of scar tissue and inflammation, and they were kind of worried about having to go back in and fix it. So I went to the general surgeon and told him about this weird pulling, stretching, ripping feeling that would happen sometimes, just in that same area as the appendix. So he ordered a CAT scan. And good news, not a lot of scar tissue, just a little. Bad news, my right kidney was enlarged. Not tons, but it was enlarged, and they could see that there was some scar tissue that looked to be pinching off part of the ureter, which is that tube that drains your kidney to your bladder. So the doctor wanted me to go see the kidney specialist to be able to figure out what was going on. And that was about a week before the kidney pain started. So I already had an appointment set up. I was very lucky for that when this started hurting, and I went to the ER, and oh, by the way, was also sent home and told there was nothing wrong, even though I was in horrible pain in my side. They knew my kidney had issues, but because blood work didn't show anything, they sent me home and told me I was just fine. So I get into the new specialist, into the nephrologist, and they're like, we already know what's going on. Your kidney's blocked. You need to go in and have a stent put in to be able to let your kidney drain. 1 week from the day of having the ER send me home, I'm in surgery. And they put a stent in, and the stent's kind of neat. It's like a little curly Q on one side that sits in your kidney, and it goes down the ureter. And then there's another curly Q that sits in your bladder. That way it keeps everything in place and rubs on everything, and is annoying every time you move because you can actually feel it. It makes you have to pee all the time. It makes your kidney hurt all the time. It's a great thing. But my kidney's not blocked. So they put the stent in. I wake up and they tell me, because this is my luck, it was worse than we thought it would be. Instead of just that one spot that you could see on CAT scan being blocked, it was actually blocked the entire way. The entire ureter was damaged. So I may be having to lose my kidney. That's a great way to wake up from anesthesia, by the way. Learning that, we might have to just take out your kidney soon. So I go home. I go back for my follow-up appointment where the doctor can talk to me more about this. He tells me he wants me to see this specialist, who, by the way, is an 1.5-hour drive away, because his specialty is making new ureters. And then the nerd comes out of my nephrologist, and he gets all kind of excited talking. And I'm like, this can't be good. And then he starts telling me about the different ways that they make a new ureter. I think, it's like some fake tube or cadaver or, something donated. No, it's not that simple. They either like to take part of your intestines and make it into a new tube. Yay. Or the best part, which I love since, as you can tell, I have a list. He says they use buccal material. I, being a vet tech, actually know that buccal means cheek. They want to take someone who has a bad lisp, well, not bad, but you see it. They want to take someone who has a lisp and cut out parts of their cheek to be able to make a tube. He doesn't think that I might be a candidate for that one particularly because they need to replace the entire ureter instead of just part of it. But he wants me to see the specialist to see if, 1, I'm a candidate for the surgery, and 2, what type of surgery they want to do, if they want to do the buccal or the intestines. And also, you know what sucks? The specialist is backed up because of the holidays. It's going to take 5 weeks to get in to see him. So you get to live in pain for 5 weeks until you get to see him. And while waiting, you know what happens? Well, to start with, they decided to go ahead and remove the stent because it's only temporary. It's not made to be in for long term. So after 3 weeks, they remove it. And that very night, the migraines come back. I had been completely migraine free the entire time the stent was in. I actually woke up without a migraine, but I went in seeing stars from it with the surgery. So that night, I knew it was starting to close back up. And my doctor did an ultrasound, and the bottom of it kind of looks like when the clown is making balloon animals and he blows up one side of the balloon but the other side still hasn't been blown up. So the bottom of my ureter is nice and skinny, a little too skinny actually, narrow, and then the top of it is ballooning, and that means that fluid is having problems getting through and it's going and so yes, I really do need to see the specialist so I can figure out what one of my 3 choices is going to be. Do I use my cheek? Do I use intestines? Or do they just pull the entire kidney and ureter out? And while waiting, because I did say the migraine came back, it got so bad that I was barely able to eat. I was so nauseous. Hey, not necessarily a bad thing when you're fluffy. But walking around not being able to see out of your eyes sometimes is a little crappy, especially when you have kids that you're looking after and it's the holidays and it's Christmas and you're trying to do stuff. So the 3 days after Christmas, whatever that Monday is, I got to have the stent put back in so I can actually function. Again, it does not feel good. You can feel where it sits. And the more active you are, the more it hurts, which means you basically just get to sit around and be a lump of poo. Or at least feel like the poo. Again, does not help with weight loss, but I've been very lucky thanks to all the nausea. I have been maintaining my 175 so far. I did check this morning. So that brings us to today, and I still can't exercise. They don't want the kidney to go under any strain. They don't want my blood pressure going up. Don't want the migraines coming back. They don't want the stent to be able to fall out of place. I lost what finger I'm counting on. So that's where we are. That's why I have not been posting, because there's not a whole lot to post about, and when you're dying in bed, you really don't want a camera on your face. It's very rare these days that I put makeup on, and it will probably be another month or 2 before I do another update. I do plan on being able to get back to using my Bionic Gym. I was really liking it, and for all the questions that I do get between Facebook and YouTube, yes, I recommend the Bionic Gym. No, I haven't had any issues, and yeah, I think it's worth the money. I sat on my couch watching movies and lost weight. So again, it will be a while until another update. Hopefully, we'll find out what surgery I'm having. And oh yeah, the surgeon's backed up for setting surgeries too, so I'm looking at maybe February before I can actually get the surgery. And thank you to everyone who has been asking questions about the Bionic Gym, our journey. And no, my husband has not been using the Bionic Gym. He's been extremely busy with his other YouTube channel. Let me do a little shameless plug, Exploring with the Nug. And you can watch him find weird things underwater in different rivers, pull out stolen purses and cars, find headless goats, you name it, it's on there. If you can find it in the water, he's probably found it, and 50-something guns. So, till then, you can always check out how we're doing on that channel too. And yeah, I hope you all are enjoying your own bionic journey if you're doing it. If not, it might be a good choice for you. Who knows? But thank you so much. I'll see you all later. Bye.